friends, and welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today we're going to continue our segment on how it works. Today we are specifically going to look at the Rebel team for the AAT Tank Raid. This team can be used in both P2 and P4, and while the strategy changes slightly for the P4, it stays roughly the same. Now, I am going to use my Wiggs team, that is the Wedge Antiles, Wiggs, Lando, Akbar, and Princess Leia team. The thing I like about this team specifically is that they're pretty easy to farm. This team is pretty easy to farm, and they are useful outside of the AAT Raid. Again, I am showing you this off of the basic AAT. This is the regular one. This team is still effective against the heroics. This team doesn't require any units from Wedge has is called Red Leader. Wedge has plus 12%. Those are offense, harder units to get, 9% speed for each ally with full health, and 15%. It is likely that most players at this point in the game probably each ally even new players full health probably still have including these characters or a form of these Wiggs Dark Letter is present. If you're new to the game, it's good to build these characters up. It's good to have Leia and Wiggs and Wedge and so on. Wedge's leader ability is Rebel Heroism. Rebel allies have a plus 30% offense, recover 15% of their max health, and 10% turn meter on a critical hit, and recover 25% of their max health whenever they defeat an enemy. So that's what's nice about that, is every time a turret goes down, technically they recover that amount of health. One of the other things that is great about Wedge is his unique ability, which is Red Leader. Wedge has plus 12% offense and plus 9 speed for each ally with full health, and plus 15 speed for each ally without full health, including defeated enemies. If Wiggs Dark Lighter is present, he also gains these bonuses. Now, having the Wedge team benefits directly from them. But what's great about that is you take these two characters and all of a sudden they're fast, they hit hard, and they hit often. That is a very potent combination. Like I said, it is something that's easily farmable. Now, what's great about Wiggs is his basic attack, Cadet's Aim, deals physical damage to target enemy with a 50% chance to gain critical chance up for 2 turns. Now remember, if he scores a critical hit, he gets a bunch of bonuses from his affiliation with Wedge. On a critical hit, grant a random ally critical damage up for 2 turns. That's awesome. Now, his Comrade in Arms deals physical damage to target enemy and call an assist. If Wedge Antilles is present, he also assists. Now keep in mind, it's also. So when you use this ability, Wedge will automatically pull someone else from your team to attack with their basic ability. That is potent, right? Then automatically, if Wedge is present, he gets to attack as well. All attacks have 75% more critical chance. Now, if Leia is on your team, she should be on your team. Leia gets to attack 3 times, or potentially 3 times, and Leia's basic attack, Hair Triggered, deals physical damage to target enemy with a 55% chance to attack a second time and a 40% chance to attack a third time. Each attack has a 50% chance to grant 10% turn meter. So, when Wedge uses that call to arms, if Leia jumps in on that, she could potentially attack 3 more times with an increased critical chance and critical damage, and she could potentially gain turn meter with every attack. That is a potent combination. Now, you're not always going to get Leia to attack every single time, but it will happen enough that it's going to be effective. Now again, in this raid, you're going to want to topple the tanks. Take out the top turret first, then you take out your side 2 turrets, and then you go. Now, it is going to happen like you saw in this video, where you're going to get hit with a bunch of damage over time and other debuffs. That's why we have Akbar, as he is a cleanser. It's a Trap is Akbar's special, and it dispels all negative status effects from all enemies. Each ally recovers 9% of their max health for each effect dispelled this way. Admiral Akbar has a 25% chance to gain 40% turn meter. When you have an entire squad with 3 or 4 or 5 debuffs, Using this not only increases Akbar's chance to go again with a 40% turn meter, but heals your team quite a bit. Then, once you have toppled the tank, you're going to want to use Akbar's Tactical Genius right before the tank is about to become untoppled. Now, his Tactical Genius, Akbar grants each ally Tactical Genius effect. The first ally to use a special ability while they have this effect gains 100% turn meter and recovers 30% of their max health. Tactical Genius ends whenever an ally triggers the effect at the end of Akbar's turn. You're going to want to do this for Lando's ability, which is the Double Down ability, which deals physical damage to all enemies if this attack scores more than one critical hit. Its cooldown is reset and it deals 100% more damage on its next use. There are 4 chances for Lando to score a critical hit every time he uses this ability. Now, if he does score 2 or more critical hits and you have used the Tactical Genius, he immediately gets to do this again, which is going to take health of the turrets down drastically right off the bat. Then you come in with Wedge's Red Squadron Strike, which deals physical damage to all enemies. This attack deals 50% more damage to Empire enemies or enemies with 50% health or more. Now, you drop 2 of the double downs from Lando, and then you come in with this, and automatically you topple the tank another time. Once you topple, just attack it like crazy. It's important to make sure you save these abilities. While the tank is toppled, they don't do the same amount of damage, they're not as effective. Keep that in mind. The abilities that you're going to want to use while the tank is toppled are going to be just Leia's basic attack, Akbar's basic attack until the tank is about to become untoppled. Then you use his Tactical Genius ability while the tank is toppled. That is when you're going to want to take advantage of Biggs's Comrade in Arms. Now, if you have it maxed out, which is just an Omega ability, you don't need Zetas for this team, which is one of the other reasons why it's so nice. If you have it maxed out with an Omega, he gets to use it every other turn. Now, against a toppled tank, that is a very, very high damaging attack, because you're not only using him, but so is Wedge, and so is potentially one other character. This is a very effective team in Phase 2 and Phase 4. In Phase 4, the only difference is you're going to want to take out the B2 battle droids first, and then use the abilities, and then topple the tank. Keep in mind that when the airstrike hits in the 4th phase, that if any character who doesn't have an additional buff on them outside of the ones you get for toppling the tank will be instantly killed. So, one last recommendation for this raid, and for any raids, and for any battles. If you find yourself bombing, if you just get a bad start, restart. You know, resign and exit out, and try again. If within the first 2 tank raids, or the first 2 rounds, you can't get a topple and you lose a guy, back out and try again. And if you're new, if you're just starting this raid, and you don't have the ability to really topple the tank 4 or 5 times, but you can only do it 1 or 2, that's fine. Focus on these 5 characters and build them up. Like I said, they're beneficial in a number of different areas, so you're going to want to make sure that they are as powerful as they can be. They don't need to be Gear 11, although Gear 11 does help. They're not difficult to bring to Gear 11. Now, this has been the second entry into the How Does It Work segment of our content. What team do you use for Phase 2 and Phase 4? Leave a comment, let us know what you thought about it. Give us some feedback on what you'd like to see in other videos like this. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, stay nerdy.